say a few words, and then our colleague too, Reda Nasser from CEA, as coordinator of the project, will also give you a warm welcome to today's event. And I will finalize this opening with some boring but important aspects regarding the organization of today. So, without further ado, I pass the floor to my colleague Iñaki so that he can welcome you all.
Good morning. On behalf of the University of Deusto, let me introduce you the university and the Deusto Tech Institute of Technology during this couple of minutes. The University of Deusto is a Jesuit university founded in 1886. This campus, as you know, is located at the heart of Bilbao, at the other side of the Guggenheim Museum that maybe you have had the chance to visit during these days. But we also have campuses and sites in San Sebastian, in...
Recording in progress.
Obviously, the University of Deusto has evolved a lot through the years. Currently, we have 6 different faculties. One of them is the Faculty of Engineering, with 10 different degrees, from the most traditional, the oldest computer engineering degree, and the latest one in artificial intelligence, robotics, or biomedical engineering that will start in next year. Deusto Tech, the institution that I represent here, is the Deusto Institute of Technology. It's part of the Faculty of Engineering, and it's an organization devoted to research projects, with around 50, 60 full-time researchers and around 100 people, including also PhD students and collaborators. We work in the areas of artificial intelligence, basically Internet of Things and ubiquitous computing, and also advanced computing systems. And we try to apply the results of those research projects to sectors such as society and government, sustainability, mobility, industry, and health, always trying to keep people at the center of the research proposals. At the whole University of Deusto, we have more than 300 PhD students, and 1/3 of them are, in fact, international students. We have 36 research teams in total, and more than 40 ongoing international research projects, most of them from Horizon 2020 program. We also have 2 startup incubators. One incubator is in Bilbao, another incubator is in San Sebastian, with around 20, 25 different startup companies. This one, the one that we have in Bilbao, is very focused to technology startups. And 7 entrepreneurship programs for different profiles. Some of those entrepreneurship programs are for students that are taking their studies here and they have some interest in entrepreneurship, but also for seasoned and experienced professionals that maybe change or they have some ideas that they want to develop. Well, this is more or less an overview of our institution. And we are super excited to have you here today to know more about your companies and your ideas and how you're going to push forward data economy in Europe. So welcome again and thank you.
Thank you. Now is the turn of Reda.
Yeah.
Please.
Good morning, all. Good morning, all. Thanks, Mr. Director, that you accept to host our event in your premises in very nice building, and that providing us all the necessary commodity, restaurant, and all the support from your teams. It has been very nice. Hopefully that we will succeed today to give you a big, good picture about the progress in this projects. So these SMEs, welcome all. We have been 32 in the starting of this open call. As you know, we have selected 10 of the 32 SMEs with you, having feedbacks from coaches, from yesterday, data providers. It seems that you are in good progress, that everything seems running fine. But unfortunately, today is the day of pitches where you will share with us your experience, your progress, your technologies. But we must, at the end of the day, select 5 of you that continue in the 3rd stage of the open call. But that means, it don't mean that the others will not benefit from the support of the project. As you know, there is a support from the project of the 10 of you on different level of support through vouchers to attend events, to get investors and know about your product and services. And this will be, I will be happy to support you for the next months until the end of the project. Unfortunately, we should end one day. Then I will left immediately the micro to Diego to explain how things will happen today. At the end of the day, after the conclusion, I will explain you the most important aspects, financial aspect, how we will proceed to pay your fees, etc. But it's not the most important. Now, the most important is to pitch. Thank you all.
Okay, so thank you, Reda, and thank you, Iñaki, for your welcome. I want to thank and welcome also all the people that are involved in the project. So first of all, to the main protagonists, which are the companies taking part in the incubator, to the data providers that without their industrial data, it will not be possible to incubate data fuel solutions. Also to the team managers that are trying to tackle this difficult and complex challenge of bringing together different data providers and different solution providers so that they assemble what we call data value chains. Hopefully, we will get in much closer contact with investors as this first round of incubation progresses to the following two stages. And of course, thanks a lot to all the consortium members that do this possible. Today, a big role is going to be played by the three members of the evaluation panel. So first of all, my colleague from Deusto, also Pedro Roseiro from Portugal, is going to help us assessing your business market and investment readiness levels. And also finally, Lev Dolgachov also will also be able to assess aspects of how ready you are, particularly for investment, for recruiting private funding. So you all know very well the agenda. We are going to try to start sharply as planned, 9:30, and then we will have a very small break at 11:15. Well, this is buffer time in case we lag behind. Then we won't have a break. Hopefully, everything will go according to plan. At the end of the session this morning, around 12:15, there'll be a group photo. And then the jury members plus consortium staff will get together. And based on yesterday's and today's rankings and evaluations, ratings, we will be able to nominate the top 5 teams. You'll be offered lunch from 12:30 to 2:45. We will be guiding you from the cloister next to us at the end of the group photo. So don't get lost. It's in the same place as yesterday. So the ones that already attended to lunch yesterday know where they have to go, but they need the ticket that Idoia and other colleagues of mine are going to distribute. And finally, we will finish at 2:45. As I said yesterday, we were going to finish by 5 sharp. Today, we're going to finish by 3 p.m. sharp because I have to teach at 3 p.m. I know it's a very selfish reason, but we like things to be efficient and be done according to plan. So this is the idea of Rich. Not much to explain you at this stage. You are in the experiment stage, you're finishing there. Supposedly today you are presenting the huge potential of your MVPs and also a convincing business plan that hopefully will allow you to get many customers or find further investment to help you develop your solutions, your products, your companies. 5 of you will qualify to the next stage where we will try to enhance, help you increase your market and investment readiness level. And you all, the 10 of you, will carry on taking part in this exposed phase with your missions to try to conquer the market and to convince investors, and that you have supposedly already planned those missions, those events key industrial or investment seeking events organized across Europe. Okay, I want to let you know that this is a hybrid event, so it's being streamed. So I want to thank my colleague Aritz Bilbao, who is up there controlling the streaming of this event, which is available in this link that you see there and has been actually tweeted and published in all social media. These are the 10 companies that are representing us today. And well, Betergy is from Spain, working in the energy sector. Victa is working on a challenge of Industry 4.0 and is also from Spain. Cropped is a Serbian company working in the agricultural sector. CYC is a consulting company also from Spain, which is working on challenges regarding the retail sector. Hopu is a Spanish company working on the smart cities area and also applying this time their products and knowledge to the tourism sector. Hupi is aiding, in this case, a public administration to help them arrange and manage better social services. Rebase Energy, as the name states, also is working in the industry sector and it's a Swedish company. I forgot to say that Hupi is a French company. Smartricity is a German company also working in the energy sector. Trustmark is working on cybersecurity, it's an Italian company. And Censo is a German company, which is working again in a challenge associated to retail. So you all know from yesterday afternoon what is the pitching order. So Smartricity will have the honor to start the pitching, and Hupi also will have the honor to close this pitching event. There you have the time slots that have been allocated to each of you. Key instructions, this is my last slide. So essentially at 9:30 sharp, the Smartricity person in charge of the pitch will talk from the center of the stage, and we'll have to talk for maximum 10 minutes. There'll be this physical clock that you see there that will basically buzz or alert you when the 10 minutes expire, and then it will be followed up by 5 minutes questions addressed by issued by the jury panel, by the business jury panel, and we will follow this dynamic in a hopefully agile manner. So as soon as one team finishes, the others should be already ready so that my colleague Luis can attach that team the mic, and also we will change the presentation here. Okay, so I hope that more or less is clear. So I want to finish just wishing you very good luck on today's event, and I am convinced that you will be able to demonstrate the potential, the huge potential behind your sustainable data fuel solutions. So let's go for it. And now, basically, we have 10 minutes to get started. If I go back to the agenda. Okay, so thank you very much. Something important, that you want to talk comfortably, so you can talk without the mask. Those pitching, okay? So yeah, we didn't say that. Still, we need to wait for.
Just give it a go. Okay. Good morning. My name is Sebastian, and I'm proud to present you the results of the Catalog Deduplication Challenge for Sonae and its online platform .pt. I'm happy to be here physically in beautiful Bilbao, and I already had some pinchos for my teammates in Germany. Andreas is our CTO. Michael is responsible for sales and organizational matters. Florian, who is here, is a professor for AI healthcare at Deggendorf Institute of Technologies, and he's our data scientist. And I do web development, marketing, and sales. The problem that we solve is pretty common for online marketplaces because only 5% of online shops are satisfied with the overall quality of their data. As you can see here, there are 6 items on the page of Dot, even though there should be only 3 unique ones. The others are truly variations of the Play-Doh. So bad quality of data leads to a bad user experience and a decreased click-through rate. And finally, a loss in sales. So what did we do? We developed an easy-to-use web app that gives the catalog owner suggestions of how to modify the data, which items are duplicates or variations and thus should be merged. We give the possibility to see the warnings about data issues in general, the possibility to add notes, and the possibility to confirm, reject, or just save the decisions or suggestions so that the decisions of the system can directly be applied to the catalog and improve the quality. So this will result in an increase in sales and a reduced workload for the staff. As I mentioned, there are very many shops that face these issues. And of course, the e-commerce market globally is quite huge. It is a 2.1 trillion euro market globally per year, and it is expected to grow by 42% over the next 5 years. If we only look at Germany, there are 120,000 online shops. And if we only would plan with 200 euros per month, we would have a market potential there of 288 million euros. We want to serve this market with subscription fee business model, including a setup fee, an initial one, and the possibility to include add-ons, for example, image processing or autopilot mode. What makes our solution special is that it is completely AI-based and automated. While Reach, we created two different data value chains. The first one is the product data value chain. There we had the advantage of our experience in a lot of different previous e-commerce projects. For example, we processed affiliate data feeds, CSVs. We also worked for a big price comparison page. And over the years, we developed algorithms that can be applied to a lot of shops and a lot of problems. And that can also easily be extended to new cases. The other one is the matching data value chain. This is where the AI is. There we generate pairs of similar products, and we propose or suggest whether to merge them and how to merge them. So speaking about solutions, on the left side, you see companies that focus mainly on manual work, so that doesn't scale very good, and where humans put in data, there will always be failure. On the right side, you see big infrastructure solutions, so they don't focus on deep duplication, it's only a side aspect. We can provide a better customer value there. We already did 2 test runs with .pt, and the feedback was quite well. They stated that it is a very useful tool. It provides a lot of value to the company, and that the next step should be to include it into their live system. And we also did a quantitative analysis of the feedback, and we found out that 75% of the actions were directly confirmed, so they can be used as they came, and 25% that were not could still be modified by the tool, so they still provide value. And it is to be said that the people that did the test were the catalog team of .pt, so they are the true experts for their catalog data. They are the people that know the data best. What did we do? We reached the MVP status in August. Then we did the test in September. There we agreed with the data provider that the next step should be to add image processing, because we already have a clear plan how to do that, and it will improve the results even further. And after that, we will integrate the solution into the live system of .pt so that the suggestions can be directly applied to the catalog. After that, of course, we want to reach other customers, and from the different kind of shops and size, we want to focus on the big shops first, because there we can generate enough revenue while having the time to focus our effort on the single customer. And then we want to use these insights and this feedback, these learnings to generalize the whole thing to also provide it to smaller shops. Another good thing about these kind of shops is that most of them have in-house incubator systems. So we can get their attention to the technology and to the provided value of our solution with a lot of time. And of course, we also want to do trade fairs, etc. But I think that's normal. Okay, so in 2022, we want to reach 3 customers in this size. And in 2023, we want to serve customers with about 1 million products. For comparison, .pt has 160,000 products in their catalog. So this means we want to multiply by 8 in these 2 years. We plan with a churn rate of 5%, with a sales cycle of 6 months, an annual recurring revenues of 24,000 euros, customer lifetime value of 120,000 euros, and customer acquisition cost of 10,000 euros. So what are the next steps? We want to integrate the solution into the live system of .pt. Then we want to initialize sales. After, we are looking for an investment round of 500,000 euros to expand the sales and the tech team. So we want to invest it into faster growth of the company and the product. And later, we want to make more marketing and more sales and concentrate the effort on that. So finally, why should we move to the evolve phase? We have a proven value in our product for a huge market, and it is ready to be integrated into the life system of our first customer. It is highly scalable, and we want to make use of the evolve phase to get the attention of potential customers and investors there. And we think that the product is a good fit for that because besides the market potential and the innovation and the scalability, we provide a direct impact on the cash flow of the customer from two sides, because we can simultaneously increase the sales while decreasing the workload and the cost of the staff. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Very well done. You have still, you did have still 3 minutes to go. So,
oh, so we had a lot of time for the questions.
No, we are limited to just 5 minutes. So again, thank you for your presentation. A couple of questions though. So if I am a company, how much are you going to charge me for implementing this service?
Yeah, it depends from the size of the company.
I'm a small one.
Yeah.
So you are going to charge me how much?
It depends from the number of products that you want to process, and there
1,000.
1,000 is for big companies that have more than 100,000 products to process. If you're a small online shop, for example, you start with 6 euros per month, which is less than, for example, the Adobe Cloud. So it should be affordable for also small shops.
So I'm going to pay you about 700 euros per year. How much I'm going to do more?
Well, it depends from a lot of other factors like your click-through rate and the kind of product that you have. But as we've seen, for example, with a big customer in Germany, we could raise the revenues just by providing a better search results with merging products by 50%.
50%.
So 50%. That was in Germany. That was a price comparison website. So it's maybe not totally comparable to small shops. It depends a lot on the individual case, but the potential is huge. And clean data is not only good for search results. You have a lot of other possibilities. For example, you can make more efficient ads and generate it out of the organized and structured data. So it's hard to tell, but I think if it's not worth it for the customer, he won't use it. But yeah, the upside is high.
I keep the promise up to 50% more.
Yeah,
okay.
We do our best. We already reached in the split test with one of the biggest price comparisons there, but that's our goal, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for presentation. I have several short questions. Still, what is the initial setup fee for a small company? Mm-hmm. You will charge it like 700 a year, but what is the setup fee?
Yeah. The plan is to generalize the solutions for small companies. So if you take it out of the box, which will be the plan there, there won't be any setup fee. But if you're a bigger company and you have customizations that have to be done, the plan is to be about 2-month fees.
Okay, thanks. Another one is your team fully committed to this project, or you have some other jobs?
Yeah, well, Florian is professor at a university, and the others, we are full-time working in our company for 3 years, 2.5 years now. So it's a full-time company.
Any money from outside so far, from investors? Have you get any?
No, we're totally bootstrapped, even though we had, for example, some governmental funding like exists in Germany.
Thanks.
Okay, just my colleagues have done most of the questions I had, but one is for me important. You are mentioning that the market size is 2.1 trillion euros, but that's the whole e-commerce market. So looking at your target, or in average target, how much do you think the market is valid? Is your market valid on?
Pardon? How much?
How much do you think your market is really, it's not 2.1 trillion euros? How much do you think, looking at your size, or at your products, and the average size of the stores you are addressing. How much do you think it's the market size for your product?
Well, as in the beginning, 95% of the shops are not satisfied with the quality of the data. So of course, in the beginning, not every online shop will use a deduplication tool. So we would have to split and go deeper there to find which ones are facing issues with duplicates. So it will probably be the bigger ones.
But the total market is independent on that. It's how many online stores do you have in the world? That's the market size. And if it was translated in subscription fees of your product, how much does it worth? And then we can drill down to see what is achievable, addressable, and realistic. But what is the really the market size? Because that's the overall number.
Yeah, we already did a calculation for the 10 biggest companies in Europe in e-commerce. And it is still, I think, in the low two-digit billion range. So the goal would be to achieve 2 of them in the next 2 or 3 years, and then we would have a nice share.
Yeah, but how much is that for you in license fees?
Yeah, in license fees, well, for those 2, it would be about 50,000 per year for the begin, and depending of how much products they process. So if they want to process, for example, the double amount, like 2 times per month, it would be the double. So then it would be 100,000 and on.
Ah, espera, sí, ahora me manda. Ya. Sí. Hello, everyone. My name is Maria Marchueta, and I'm the marketing manager of CYC. I would like you to meet John. John is a demand planner in a big retail company. He has a very stressing job. He struggles to get information from different departments. And when he gets the numbers, they are all in different spreadsheets and different formats. But that's not all. When he makes his calculations, he has to introduce all the information in the system planning, which is a nightmare. And on top of that, he has to prepare lots of reports for top management, which is very time consuming. And on top of that, management is unhappy. Is unhappy with the accuracy of his results and with the quantity of out of stock and of product waste he has in the company. And additionally to this, well, we know what happens nowadays, crisis scenarios and unexpected events like COVID-19 or food safety crisis make his job even worse. Consumers changes their behavior. So you have changing patterns in the consumption behaviors, and this creates for his company more out of stock and more product waste. So demand planning faces new challenge. And what we know is that demand is no longer guided by regular consumer needs, and that demand forecasting based on artificial intelligence solutions have been compromised. So retailers need a new approach. That's why CYC has created a new demand forecasting tool, which enables retailers to forecast the right product at the right place and at the right time. Our solution is a demand planning forecast for standard and for crisis scenarios, which includes historical business data and artificial intelligence. The model includes a standard forecast for standard situations, an anomaly detection model, unexpected item sales, and an emergency forecast, and a shopping basket behavior analysis. I will give you some details on the tool. The sales analysis enable retailers to make a very accurate sales description, and they understand better what performing products have the strongest strengths, what are the promotion lifts, what is the top performing stores within the whole company, and also they understand what kind of sales evolution they are making compared to the budget they were targeting. Stock management and inventory management, it's much easier thanks to our tool because they get good insights on safety stock and how to manage inventories. And when it comes to anomalies and unexpected moments, the tool gives an alternative forecast to react better to these anomalies. And last but not least, the shopping basket behavior. Thanks to this tool, demand planners get a better understanding on how react different products and which ones are strongly related to each other. Thanks to this tool, they will be able to plan better promotions. To sum up, this tool enables demand planners to make an optimized forecast to avoid out of stock and to reduce product waste. And at the end of the day, they will be prepared to make better decisions and to give a better quality service to the final consumer. The market opportunity. Well, there is a big market here. Retail market will be 3.55 trillion euros by 2023. You could say, well, that's a huge market, but what we know is that this market is dominated by big players. 25 big players dominate the market. So you could say, well, once you have reached all these 25, the potential is limited. But the truth is, we want to target the whole retail value chain because we understand that producers, manufacturing, packaging companies, up to retailers, they all need a superior demand planning tool with all the situations we have seen before. The bad news is that we are not alone in the market. We do have competitors. We see two kinds of competitors. Direct competitors, which are consultancy companies with a very strong technical expertise, and indirect competitors, which are supply chain, logistic companies with own tools. They have industry knowledge. And we at CYC, we want to position ourselves in between. But what makes us unique? Well, our tool is unique because of the immediacy of the information ingestion, the accuracy of the results, not only on the forecast, but also on the stock and the calculations for safety stocks. The optimization of resources because the demand planners will better calculate the out of stock and the reaction time will be less. And the agility, because once we have detected the anomalies, we will quickly be able to react. And at the end of the day, we will achieve efficiency for the companies to react and take better decisions. How we want to sell our business model. CYC is a consultancy firm specialized in the digital transformation of companies. We have three business areas: collaborative platforms, mobile developments, and data analytics. But data analytics is a very small area still. And we see that we have a huge potential here, and here's where we want to grow. We have experience in selling business solutions with data and with artificial intelligence. And you see here some of the customers that already trust us. And this is how we achieved these customers. We have been over 20 years selling BI solutions, BI tools to transform data into business solutions. For the last 5 years, we have started enriching our tools with data science and artificial intelligence. And why are we here at RITS? Well, because we wanted to create a new use case in the retail sector. Thanks to this opportunity, we created a new tool that we will be selling in 3 different packs. We have created 3 packs for our potential customers. A basic pack, which includes a standard forecast model with standard KPIs, and we will be charging a fee per month. And this includes also maintenance and evolution services. The second pack is the emergency pack, which also includes the emergency forecast model with some basic and emergency KPIs, also for a project for fee and also with maintenance and evolution services. But we also have thought of these companies that really have very specific needs. For them, we have created the full customized pack, which is a tailor-made solution for specific needs. And this is what we want to achieve in a 3-year plan. We want to start, we have some projects in the pipeline, and we expect to sell 5 packs next year, creating 425,000 euros. These sales will be growing up to 2.5 million euros and 40 projects by 2024. The idea we have is to start selling customized packs because we want to learn more about the industry and about the company's needs. We will be learning and improving and fine-tuning our KPIs and our model. We will then push basic and emergency packs in order to achieve the scalability we are expecting. And our go-to-market strategy. Well, we have been doing an exercise during the experiment phase. We have approached 3 different companies: a food manufacturer, a packaging company, and a retailer from an international chain. And we have done this exercise in order to achieve different goals. First of all, we wanted to learn more about the industry, the needs the business users have, but also the needs the management of these businesses have. We also wanted to check and define the relevant KPIs for each industry, and also we wanted to check our messages. After this exercise, we fine-tune our tool, and now we think we have a very attractive tool. We have also created a marketing plan based on 3 different pillars: strategic partnerships, communications, and events. We are working together with strategic partnerships, which are technical companies, IT clusters, and management associations, because they will be the platform for us to present our solutions. We use communications actions to reach awareness where we create different pieces of content to the different buyer personas we have, and we reach them through different channels like social media, newsletters, and presentations to customers. In events, we will be presenting our solutions in different events until the end of the year. We have planned 1 event tomorrow, the OTD TIC in Pamplona, and we will be presenting also our solution in the Be Digital Fair Trade in Bilbao in 1 month. And the team who's going to make this happen, well, this is a mixture of business-oriented professionals and data scientists, all supported by a very strong technical team and a go-to-market team where business development and marketing is included, where I belong myself. And we hope with all these plans to hire up to 15 people within 3 years. So this is it for the CYC demand planning tool. Let's take forecasting to the next level. Thank you for your attention, and I'm happy to answer your questions.
Is it working? Yeah, great. Perfect timing, by the way. Since we spoke 2 months ago, maybe 3 months ago,
Right,
with you,
yes.
what progress did you make with the product?
Yes, well, we had the opportunity to have a mentoring session with you. And one of the questions we were asking you is, how do we reduce the uncertainty of the customers when we reach them? And how can we tell them about the return of this tool for their businesses? Yes. So that's why we did this commercial approach I was talking about. We went to these customers because we had the opportunity. Some of them are already customers from us from another business area. So it was easy for us to reach them. So we went there and we presented them the solution, and we talked to them about the benefits. And this helped us measuring what maturity they had about the data, what was important for them, and what were the messages they were hoping to hear to reduce this uncertainty. So that's something we learned, and we really that's helped us prepare all the sales argumentation for our sales team. Okay,
thanks. But overall progress of your project over the last 2 or 3 months, can you briefly?
You mean on the tool or on the
whole thing you're doing?
Yes. Well, we also learned about the KPIs. It was relevant for them. So this helped us fine-tuning the KPIs we should present on our solution. For instance, we were aware that out of stock was a very important measure, but we also learned that service level was really a very, very relevant KPI. And understanding what service level was for them, that they don't have a service level established for all categories and all products, but that they have some, for instance, some hero products where service level is especially special. This helped us define, okay, we need different service levels for different kind of products, and this has to be able to be personalized in the tool for it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the presentation. Quick question. Are you going to compete against the big players like the Accentures, all the big ERP implementators? What's your playing field? Small companies or the big guys?
Indeed, we already compete with this kind of consultancy companies in the other business areas. So we know how to compete with them. We know we have a certain dimension. We are not the big ones, but we know some of the success factors we have when competing with them. And some of them add the expertise. We have the technical expertise we have, but also the ability to understand businesses. We are really very close to the customer, and we have ability to understand their real needs. And we are also a very a niche company that have specific solutions for specific problems. And this is something that really helps when competing with these big companies.
Okay, but again, what is the market opportunity? So you told us that in Europe, all the 3.5 trillion euros, I suppose, is for retail. But you mentioned that only most of the retail is concentrated in 10 large groups, I suppose. So how much do you expect to have as revenues from what is reasonable for you, the percentage of those retailers that you are may address? And another question is a more technical one. Is it really feasible to have a basic model without services? How do you deal with ingestion from the data sources?
Okay, yes. Let me begin with the last one. We have defined some minimum services, even for the basic pack. These are going to be like very small evolution from the tool, which we are going to implement through all our basic pack customers. Yes, and concerning the retail companies that may be our real target, we are going to start with the retail chains we have close to us. We have already have conversations with one of them, and we really believe we have something to deliver, because the feedback we have had from the tool is that it really has a value for them. So we can really expect to reach some of them.
Yeah, it works. Hi, ladies and gentlemen, dear jury. Let me introduce to Fresh Forecast our solution to tell the true quality, safety, and shelf life of food. We do so by digitizing food knowledge into a digital twin that then tells relevant information such as product shelf life or product quality details. Despite the fact that the food industry invests great effort in quality assurance, there are huge losses along the food supply chain in the industry itself. So not food waste at the consumer at home, but really money that reduces the profit margin of the companies. And the key secret behind this is that for fresh produce, there are huge natural variations in product quality. Some have experienced rain before harvesting, some were not stored correctly. So the product that has arrived yesterday might have a perfect shelf life and looks good. The pallets that arrive today might have a much reduced shelf life, but they still look the same. So this information is not available for retailers. Now, what we do, we provide quality assurance as a service built on 3 pillars. First of all, we have sensors and food scanners to assess the quality parameters of food, non-destructive and instantaneously at goods receiving or in the store. We provide the digital twin, that is a digitized food knowledge from university gathered over the last 50 years, made as a service. And on top of that, everything is available in the cloud. So we can provide on top building services such as forecasting or work with other people. So let me show how this works. So basically, we connect to the traceability system of the retailer. Most of the retailers have some. So we get where the pallets are and we provide them our services. We provide them our scanners in their goods receiving and in their stores, and we calibrate the digital twin. Now we're all set up. When the food is, the delivery is known, based on weather data, we already can give a rough estimate of quality parameters. But the really thing happens is when the food arrives in the goods receiving department, we make a simple scan, the scan updates the twin, and we get really precise quality and shelf life information. This data is valuable because, and also we have some sensors for retailers that don't have a temperature guided supply chain. Now, the key features are the scanner, non-destructive rapid assessment of food quality parameters, the modeling that makes out of these boring parameters such as water content, sweetness, meaningful data such as quality, taste, or shelf life. The solution works based on a single pallet. So it's not a truckload, it's not the batch that was produced last week, it's single pallet resolution. And of course, on-premise if the customer wants it, or more easy for us in the cloud. We've done a field application of our solution. So we tested at goods receiving the quality that arrives, and basically by day, different producers, we could tell for a food retailer that their producer in Brazil delivers significantly worse quality than the rest. So this is information they can help to just negotiate prices with the guy, but also to say, well, maybe we should focus so that we have always best quality in the shelves. So let me summarize the benefits. Of course, it's much faster. Today, food as quality assurance processes are slow. You destroy the product, you take some juice. We're 5 times faster. Spreading the information along the food supply chain only within the retailer, from goods receiving to the distribution centers to the store, we can reduce food waste or food loss internally by 50%. We increase the satisfaction rate of customers, and in the future, when we make retailers to move from static pricing to dynamic pricing, can even increase the profit margin. So when we go into pricing, let's see what does a retailer save with our solution. Our key customer groups are wholesalers, importers, and distribution centers. There a lot of cargo comes together, so we can save about 3 people per month, and food loss in the worth of 20,000 euros. We roughly charge 1/3 of that, so our monthly usage fee is 10,000 euros. On a store level, things are smaller, and we charge about 1,000 euros per month. Now, let's take a small second. There are 240,000 retail stores in Europe. If we take 1,000 euros only from each store, we would be at a 2.4 billion euro market, bottom up. The top-down market might be much bigger, but even if we get 1/10 of the market share, we'd be highly successful. So let's continue. Of course, we are not alone. The competition arises from Israel, United States, even company in France. And where we see our big potential is that, like, let's say some solutions cover the supply chain, but they don't provide on-site measurement devices, so they lack some information. Others have on-site measurement devices, but they don't provide the food modeling. And none of them provides the solution on premise. So of the key KPI for our customers, we can provide them an out-of-the-box solution, which makes us special. Our USPs, that we have our food modeling patent registered for patent, that we have a strong distribution partner, Europol Systems. They are the European leader of these green boxes that you see in the supermarket. So basically, they know all retailers and food producers, so they make us great introductions. A German retailer said, well, this is the only promising approach we have seen so far. And we've worked with Maersk and Metro, and they said, well, this tech stack is convincing. So In the Reach Accelerator Incubator, we were able to collaborate with CYC, and we saw the benefit of being basically in the second row, that Migros has the key point of contact with CYC. They have anomaly detection, all these advanced services. We focus on the food, special knowledge ourselves. And somebody's calling the ambulance. I hope I'm not that bad. So basically, we focus on the food. We have our quantitative pricing. We have the food quality parameters, and basically have implemented the API into third party for third party to use them. So we've been in Turkey last week to showcase our solution to Migros, and they really understood the benefit. So there was the head of quality assurance, and basically they know that they have a problem with shelf life. So basically they do their own packaging, and we are now identifying the key 10 products that we will do our first testing with them. And we hope to get the field validation plant in the second quarter next year. And this really matches well our product and development roadmap. So we are around them a little longer. So we've done uncertainty quantification to reduce the error margins. We do supply chain monitoring, and with Reach now we have added the module for demand forecasting. At least we understand now what is going. And this is matched by our customer projects. We are active in the goods receiving at a German retailer. We have just recently acquired a wholesaler to do a pilot test. And with Migros now we are hoping to make this validation next year. And yesterday we learned that when we pitched in the Reach session with Zone, they said, hey, sounds interesting. Maybe we can add Zone for a small pilot at the end of the year as well. Now the team behind Fresh Index is my co-founder, Christian. He was professor in Wageningen for food modeling, now moved to the University of Freiburg. He's part-time, he has the modeling know-how. Christian and I lived in the same flat when we were students. So basically we really trust each other. There is Octavio, our solution architect, Dishi, our machine learning expert. Matthias Heiden was the ex-CTO of Fresh Detect, a food scanner startup that went bankrupt for some reasons, but now he came to us with his know-how. Julia, Katya, and Dubravka are making sales, HR, and back office. We are bootstrapped mainly. We've been in the Metro Techstars Accelerator, so they have some small shares, but the rest is basically owned by the funders. We live from grants and small customer projects. We are sound, we have small revenue at the moment, and we're preparing for the growth phase because we think we are now ready to have the good product market fit. So basically, I'm pitching here to ask you to put us to the evolve phase. There are two important trade fairs coming up, Fruit Logistica and Anuga Food Tech next year. Since we're bootstrapped, we could really use this money to have a good stand and reach out to an international audience and leave behind the small retail focus that we have currently. So together we can bring, we are on the mission to take food quality assurance to the next level. We want to provide this knowledge one day to the consumer so that people at home know how good the food is, and we can reduce global food waste significantly. Thank you.
Thank you, Matthias. Very good presentation. One comment and one question. It's not very clear to me yet how you look at the tomatoes in the warehouse, and then what happens next. But that's not a big deal. My question, you've been running since 2018, is that correct?
Yes.
So what have you been doing during these 3 years?
I go back to the production roadmap because we started off with a shelf life solution for meat. So basically we have collaborated with the second largest European retailer, Vion, and we took the quality and safety data from production, listeria, total bacterial count from the lab. We made models how long food can be good. And we really tested this with customers in Metro stores that they can scan in the market, the shelf life that they have on top of the written date. But the meat industry is dominated by a few large companies. And for a small company as we were, the market entry barrier was too big. We still work on meat. We are in contact with national authorities in food safety. It's still our dream to be active here, but the fresh produce sector is so much easier. There is no legal obligation for a best before date. Nobody knows the shelf life, not even the producer. So basically, we started with meat in 2019, beginning of 2020. We moved to fruits and vegetables. We have good success here, and we hope to get back on the meat track next year.
Okay, I think it was a really nice presentation, clear to me mostly. But you talk about the patent. Is that you talked about the patent? Is that for the sensor itself?
It's for the whole solution, especially our uncertainty quantification. So we don't make a single measurement. Everybody can make a single measurement. But what does that tell you out of a pallet with 8,000 products on it if you make 3 measurements? So basically, to make the step from how many measurements do I need to until when do I have reliable information? And this basically is the key part of the patent. It's for Europe and US, and it's not granted yet, it's filed.
Okay. Another question. Can you integrate with data from other sources, namely from logistics value chain, or even from the fields, from the agriculture, for example? Have you considered to partner or to implement any application of blockchain for traceability, for example, or how do you think it can connect?
The challenge with the food supply chain is the fragmentation on the production level. So basically, there are millions of food producers, which is unhandleable for us. There are companies that focus on traceability that are active here. So basically, we can only be a second layer on top of them. That's why Europol system, they have these traits. So they get scanned when they go to the field, they get scanned. So we get logistic information with this way. Some retailers, just as Migros in Turkey, they have a very good traceability system where they can really give us from the field the data. So we hope to get there one day, but it's due to the fragmentation, it's not that easy.
Yeah, I was not saying doing it all again, but integrating with others.
That would be, of course, yes. We don't want to do traceability. We want to be food quality, and we hope to work with CYC for the forecasting or traceability companies for the raw data.
Just another question. Okay, you talked about competitors. That's a nice approach, but there are also substitute products. For example, you can use some waxes to increase the shelf life of some fruits or tomatoes that are eatable.
Yes.
How are you looking for that? Because you are only analyzing and preventing. The other solutions can also tackle the increase of the useful life of the product.
Absolutely. I mean, there is a huge success story called Appeal. They raised 250 million recently, and they provide a simple coating on fruits that extends the shelf life. And they raised this much money because when the Appeal sticker is on it, basically consumers know it's a good product. And we have serious doubt on their success, and we think that we are superior, but we don't have the 250 million yet. Because if you buy the product and you open it and it tastes shit, you do this 2 times, and you say, what good is the Appeal label? I want to have a product. Shelf life is not everything. And basically, Appeal depends on that the producers provide good quality, and their brand goes down when they screw up. We have an end-to-end solution, so we can react fast if the producer does something wrong or good receiving. So I think we will be the long-term winner.
What do you want it in the
Should I turn it around or there's no surface? Yeah, it's good, but everyone can hear me fine. Good morning. My name is Marco, and I'm the CEO of Trustmark.it. And together with Global Cyber Alliance, we're aiming to bootstrap trust and legitimacy to the web. This is our founding team with a mix of business and tech skills, from cybersecurity to user behavior. And we are fully committed to this. We came to with a different project than what we generally do with Global Cyber Alliance, but it's highly complementary to what we're doing. So imagine we are on our day-to-day lives, going to our online bank account, and how can we tell the difference between this website and this website? And not being able to tell right from wrong uncovers the underlying uncertainty as we come to experience a highly scalable market for lemons. And that's the web these days. And why is this? The fact is that the tools that constitute the web framework facilitate this impersonation. So it should come as no surprise that a person can't tell if they are where they think they are. It's a human hack in a way. So the thing is that everything is agnostic and everything roams wildly because it's a creation by multi-parties. So the statistics are pretty impressive whenever we're doing this. And the problem is that the control mechanisms that currently exist are actually enabled to tackle 84% of this growing problem. Just imagine an ever-expanding universe, and that's the web these days, and that's how far and how fast it goes, and it's impossible to tackle that from using the tools that we've been using so far. In this specific case, what we're doing is here there's a non-ASCII character, but you just put a letter in everything of the domain, and then the content looks legitimate, and people just assume that it's like, okay, this is what I'm wanting. The cyber criminals ask us to engage with the content right away, and we are pressed by those human trust nature that they are psychology-like pushing us to act on it. And this is the ongoing problem that we have to tackle. So the target market is really the fraud detection and prevention, which is set to grow at a steady pace for the coming years. As our market penetration grows, then there's a vastness of other services that we are able to provide, where account takeover is of obvious relevance because people stop giving away their credentials to phishing landing pages, and future with a lot of cryptography in the middle, business email compromises, we create our own ecosystems. So this is the market positioning. We're going beyond crawlers and DNS resolvers that are aiming to block and try to keep the web clean. And we'll also explain why that's an issue, but it has a lot to do with the false sense of security. So we're using a different approach and a different market. And this is part of how our solution complements so well the one from Global Cyber Alliance. So the industry works this way. We try to find the good website. We don't try to find the good websites. We try to find the bad websites and take them out. This is like chasing ghosts pretty much, because as I mentioned, it's like the universe, it's ever expanding. Then police forces, telcos, registries, spam lists, and so on, they try to label things according to suspicious, probably criminal, and take down. This is what Global Cyber Alliance is doing, and it's important to explain it a little bit as well, is that they're providing this global framework where everyone across the globe can share this information through them. So we're not limited to geographic limitations. Because, for example, if British Telecom blocks a domain for the UK, it's not necessarily going to happen with Telefonica in Spain. And this is the importance of silos information and how Global Cyber Alliance is aiming to tackle that. So beyond that of what's wrong and what's not, we're actually aiming to go one step further, which is saying what's right. And this is what's novel, because no one's really doing this. And we're doing this from a market-driven approach. It's not us trying to say what's right or what's wrong. We simply provide the platform and the tools for the organizations themselves to tell us what's right and what's wrong. And this as a synergistic value proposition. So we're adding block lists to allow lists or allow lists to block lists. And this way, we already know that there's some certain things that should not be taken down. And this is very important because this is one of the biggest issues that we currently have, as I'll further explain as well. But going back to what I was saying before, the issue is that the web framework has 3 different vehicles, but they don't really ask for any sense of congruity with it. So a padlock is attributed to a domain can put whatever content on it, and ultimately it's hell loose in a way. What we're doing with Allow List is that it kind of harmonizes the existing web framework. So we're going beyond that agnostic nature of the web, where a padlock is always a padlock. And as I explained initially as well, it's being abused to a certain extent that the statistics are actually more phishing websites are using padlocks than the average of the web. So the value of it has been reduced in that sense. Domains is ever expanding, as we'll also show. And the web page content is really just copy, paste, and upload it to anywhere you want. So content really should not be the ultimate thing. So some interesting cases we found with Global Cyber Alliance, and just looking at their database sharing for the last 7 days, which was around 250,000 domains, if my memory serves me right. So 3,268 domains are associated with banks, 569 to capital, and the rest as well is a recurring thing. The other thing that Global Cyber Alliance is also doing is once we find these domains, then they will try to see the top level domains that are knowingly harboring these cybercriminal websites because they have poorer due diligence than the average of the web. So then you will see that you will see the same domain being with a different TLD. And these are algorithm generated domains. So this is a beautiful thing when we're playing in a level playing field with cyber criminals, and that's the web. We have algorithms, they have algorithms. And this is ever-going fight, and this is why cybercrime and cybersecurity is a bit of a different business than others, because it's really chase and catch. It's a bit of a whack-a-mole when we think about it, of the existing approaches. So the current problem is the false sense of security that the block lists allow us in a way, because everyone thinks that it's safe. Because if it was not safe, it was taken down. The issue with taking down very good websites is that it takes on average 6 weeks to find them. So the organizations that actually brag about being faster than the rest, they say that we're 1 week faster, but that's still 5 weeks. 5 weeks of unlawful content, pretending to be a governmental organization or whatever, it's a lot of damage, as we've seen as well in these COVID times. So yes, information is broken in silos across geographies. And again, our allow list then allows that to be shared through Global Cyber Alliance and other partners to so that police forces, and this is the biggest problem really, the police forces and the organizations that are responsible for keeping this clean, since they don't have a market-driven allow list, and they don't no longer have the DNS public registry where they could find that information, then sometimes they struggle to take down a bad website because they're unsure whether it is a good website or a bad website, because there's no ultimate source of truth, and there is no real public registry where they can search who does this website belongs to. So if we go back, for example, to this one, they will not know if there was a lloydsbank.com over there, or if it was a lloydsbankcapital.com. Both of them could be from Lloyds, but they would not be able to know it, because it's not in any public registry. So the moment that we give a market-driven allow list, and the companies themselves tell that, then the police can say, okay, this is definitely the Lloyds Bank, and this is definitely not. And then they can take much faster down the bad domains without the repercussions of taking someone's good website out of business. And this is really the paradigm shift as well here. I can go on and on and on about this. Anyways, so we're securing the B2B2C digital value chain as we allow organizations to do that. Also, there's a lot in the pipeline. We're trying to focus here on the product that we're developing with Global Cyber Alliance, but I will share a bit of the vision. But anyways, regarding this allow list as it works, it already provides, it will start providing value to business and governments as we do that thing that I just explained about allowing police forces to tackle what's right and what's wrong and act upon the bad stuff faster. DNS resolvers by blocking those websites that are being shared in Global Cyber Alliance's data framework, and registries. And this is something that Reach Incubator has been interesting, because the product that we developed for Global Cyber Alliance was because of the good relationships and the vision that we share of a domain trust. This is their initiative about domains. That is very complementary to ours, and one feeds back into the other one. But yes, registries will be a new business model that was created from participating in Reach Incubator. Okay, anyways, this is the go-to-market strategy. Police forces use it for free, and domain registrars and enterprise.
Thank you so much.
I went a little bit overboard over explaining things because I think it's important to pass the message. Apologies. Anyways, this is probably what you want.
Okay. Thank you for the presentation. So I think I understand the idea, but your clients, you have so many clients, potential clients, I assume. Is that correct?
Yes, it's overing the web in a way.
And
But some
so,
pay and some don't pay.
okay, so if a client doesn't pay, probably it's not a client. Nevertheless, so my understanding is that you are trying to create like a control panel to tell the internet who's good and who is not good.
In
Is
a-
that correct?
In a multi-party way, yes, it's not us saying what's right or what's wrong. We are simply the platform where organizations come together so that they can take control of their digital footprint, and then we make that information accessible to partners. So police forces, for example. And then we also have a user-facing pilots going upcoming, where then that's the internal pilots that we're doing to increase the results of cybersecurity training and awareness for internal pilots, and then at the enterprise level also a percentage model about it.
Okay.
But yeah, there's multiple applications to this because the lack of trust is a huge issue on the web.
Thank you for presentation. I have one recommendation, one question. I would recommend you to make a bit simpler version of your presentation, because we used 10 minutes, but still did not understand where exactly your place in this ecosystem in the terms of revenue. And the question is, where are you in the terms of revenue now?
We are still pre-revenue. We are now starting to explore these new domain revenue sources as a result of the Reach Incubator, where now we can start selling to domain registrars a monthly fee for using our service.
What did you do during Reach program? What's the progress you made?
So we didn't have this product at all. We developed it for Global Cyber Alliance, and now we can help domain registrars keep their sales cleaner, because this is a big issue, because domain registrars are selling domains that will be used by cyber criminals. And then we can go and check those domains on a recurring basis to make sure that they're not trying to abuse someone else's organizational trust and reputation.
Okay, do you already have some unit economics calculations, like customer acquisition cost, customer
Right
lifetime
now, we're
value?
just using warm introductions. So there's no customer acquisition, and Global Cyber Alliance is already presenting us to their partners as well.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, maybe it was easier to me, because I'm an IT, to understand what you're trying to say, but even though the problem here is adoption also by people. So how do you convince people, normal people,
So
not aware of
yes,
anything, digitally almost illiterate, to rely on a whitelist?
So in terms of the solution itself that we are developing to the future, that's a very interesting conversation that we can have outside. In terms of the Global Cyber Alliance is an industry approach. So it's not really about the end user. The end user is just a beneficiary of the solution in a way. Then my master's is in game theory and behavioral economics. So all the decision making of the people making those decisions has been thought in that sense. And that's something that people generally highlight. But it's an industry case for now. But that would be for our wider product that it's on this side. This is the Reach Incubator thing. And this is what we can do now for free for these guys.
And what about funding? How are you?
Funding, right now, we're just using the Reach Incubator, but we will be trying to raise a seed at the end of the year as we participate in Web Summit and Slush, where the great VCs are coming together, and then we can have that international reach.
My advice is also my policy to make a pitch clear to non-IT guys, because
Yes,
this is not easy.
Yeah, we already have a different pitch completely to the targeting customers, which in 3 minutes we say it all. Here is just, I know that I'm not talking to anyone dealing with this specific problem. So it was, my challenge was to come with that without even mentioning much about the solution. Thank you.
you don't demonstrate that you have avoided all the images that you compromise and now suddenly convert it into another. And this is a real problem. You are in a city making an investment of 10 million, and the opposite party will say, oh, this Marion lost 8 million euros because they didn't manage properly, and then you are destroyed and never you are re-elected. So just Madrid, we were working with them for a 200 million euros penalty that last took all these data things, but we managed to get extra time to solve it. So what we are doing is, with all the power of big data, artificial intelligence, is to decode what is really happening in the cities. We are really tired that geographical information system that is our current system and in the cities are very statical. They know about what is going on in terms of infrastructure, roads, but they don't know exactly what are the human dynamics, the stress of the city, the movement of people. And then we are talking here today about people, stress in cities, tourists. And this is all what we want to understand and to decode in order to make proper action and guarantee that we make the sustainable development. So we create this platform 100% on rich technologies like Fireware, totally based on open source, and we integrate multiple data sources that I will describe later on. This platform enables all the integration of different data sets coming from the open source data set regarding weather, also Copernicus for satellite data. You know, we have a lot of Sentinel satellites getting a lot of data continually that we are not exploiting enough. We should go that direction. And of course, all private data sets that is about rich, how to integrate and make value of rich data sets. And all this is integrated. We manage all to map it to smart data models. This means that everything is based on Fireware. Fireware, just for your information, is over 200 cities already in Europe. So what we have created is a service plug and play on top of Fireware. Fireware is like the operating system of the city, like the Windows of the cities, or the Linux of the cities is Fireware. And we managed to create an application that was on top of that. So we created that service, and what our main value is that we are creating the models to really understand, for example, now it's very popular low emission zones. So we create a model to understand how, when you make some change, low emission zone we have. And we are parameterizing and making some parameters to adopt it from Madrid to Valencia, to Cartagena, to Barcelona, or Helsinki, or Medellin, or new cities that are reaching. The same for tourism. We want to understand when suddenly I have some workability extra streets, what is the difference in terms of stress of traffic, noise, air quality. So I want to make all these models, because models is what help me to predict, forecast, simulate, and the most important, to fix it and prevent any potential risk. And the most important, when I make investment, urban action, to really understand how much I can compromise. Because don't forget, if I under compromise, you are lost, you are like here in rich, you will go down in the list. And you overcommit, this is a problem, because you go from one phase to another, but when this is the time to get evaluated, you tap it, hey, you're not here, so you don't get the money. So we need to be careful, not overcommit, not undercommit, and only AI and big data will give us the good trade-off. So the evidence-based solution we created was excellent with the use of Play and Go datasets. Play and Go is a company from Valencia that provide and support all Las Vegas party. So this is complementary to all the current datasets we have. So we are a company that monitor air quality, noise, and crowds. So we already monitor crowds, detecting signals in your Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, etc. But we don't have, because GDPR, we are missing a lot of data, a lot of information. So we have the quantity, but we don't have the quality, because I cannot trace you. I cannot know that you, I know technically, I cannot legally know that you were from point A to point B. But Play and Go, because this is an application that people accept explicitly, they monitor it, then we get the quality. We get from these tourist people, we can classify what are the movement, what are the priority areas where we want to go, etc. And then we did, we fusion all data for movement from, let's say, big quantity, low quality, of massive identification with RF signals, all the capacity of Play and Go data sets to understand movement, and of course, all the monitoring of air quality, noise, in order to get really the sustainable impact. Our unique value proposition is clear. We want to get a suite of models. Right now, we have only 4 models. Once they want to be enriched, we want to go over 40 models. We want also, and is our main value proposition, is our data quality. We want to guarantee that the data reliability is real accuracy, and that for that we are working a lot with the standards. Also generating awareness. And I am, for example, chair of the standard IEEE 2510. Together with Cisco, important now is as standard is America, and Cisco is the co-chair, and Hope was a company from Murcia is the chair. So that's a funny story. And we are also generating these needs, as I mentioned, of compliance for this aspect. The solution we are creating this week by living at least in 3 cities. Here we have the rich one, that is Valencia, but also we verify in Barcelona. We are also the origin of pollution. First question, what is the origin of my pollution? When you go to a port like Algeciras, that we are working with, they don't know where the pollution is coming from. So why we make action without solving what is the problem first? Where is coming the pollution first? So this kind of algorithms and models that we are creating, so we have the origin of pollution, the low emissions, so the relationship between human health and sustainable, and the last one that we have pre-difference to reach, that is the urban stress and tourist stress. So going that, this is the solution we have created. This has been validated with Valencia. We also are going a follow-up contract with the city of Valencia for last fires 2021 because we manage historical data, because that was the standard asset. But now the city is getting a small contract to make follow-up. We have a service adopted for follow-up the counting of people, affluence of business, in point of interest, also crowds to avoid crowding of people, and also all the statistics. As I mentioned, we got feedback from the city and was quite positive. And the most important is that we have managed in this period, and all the document has Ana Maria from NICI, we have managed over 400,000 euros in contracts on new business, only focus on crop monitoring. We have managed 280,000 euros with Cari, 60,000 euros with Paterna, and 15,000 euros with Valencia, and 65,000 euros with La Mano. And I mean, we can sell all this content. Our go-to-markets is clear. We go with corporates. We are invested by companies like Telefonica. We are already this year over 1 million euros turnover only with Telefonica. We are going in this segment to go or directly to public tenders or wait with corporates and all very disadvantaged to them. The market is huge. We have focused mainly in the market of supporting urban action plans. So we are talking about target market for us around 26 billion. Our revenues, just to give you some ideas, last year were 1.5 million euros. This year we are already over 3 million euros turnover. And remark, this is very important for us to have our lifetime value of our customers over 180,000. And usually when they are not so confident, we charge 15,000 euros of annual regular revenue because casually is the small contract. We are lucky because now we are opening a new office in Berlin and there is 50,000 in minimal contract, so we are very happy about that. So that we have more chances to make bigger things. And this is our projection. We are already growing over 60 cities. We will expect to be over 150 cities in the 2025 and continue. As I mentioned, this year we will close around 3 million and we expect to go around 15 million. Just closing, we already closed our round of investment of 2.5 million. We are also part of it. Our cap table is quite clean, but we are also closing this round. And this is the reason we are going in that process. And finally, and more important, is my team, Javier, Eva, and also we are coming for several people in international market development, myself coming from security, and also focusing on data quality assessment, and also people very focused on data service. So thank you so much. I'm looking forward for your questions. I don't know if you have to do well.
Okay, thank you so much for your presentation. It took me a while to know who your customer was. So, cities, good. Okay, how much do you charge to a city per year for using the average service?
Average, as I mentioned, average ticket size for our sites are around 60 to 70,000 euros. But we have two modes. First, we convince them with small contracts, 50,000, we direct check less than 50,000. So that depends like the proof of concept, the initial value of the service. And after, when they feel confident, they can go a bigger contract, or then they have 2 ways to go. Or this is part of a big contract. Yes, I will give you a very clear example. Low emissions, so 1,000 million euros from next generation fund.
Okay.
So we are 86 cities can be applied. Over 26 ask for our service or low emissions. So all of them charge already 240,000 on average for this component. After that, as I mentioned, we will go with Telefonica,
Okay.
or Raidon, whoever to make.
Yeah, that's fine. So if I understand correctly, somehow you have some type of success in Spain, but the next country is Germany. Why Germany and not France, Italy, UK?
It's very clear. Germany has created. Germany is unbelievable. It's one of the cities with less evolved their public administration and the data transmission, and they have adopted quite well all the systems of the same that we have with Redes, with Red.es, has been adopted in Germany. So now the number of public tenders, smart cities development in Germany is huge. They invested before COVID 1,300 million euros. And that's the kind of public tender we are reaching and targeting. Also because we have a second brand, it's called O2, as part of Telefonica, that is helping us. Also, we are having competition with their system. So this is the kind of business we found was more relevant for us. Also, we are part of Fiber Foundation, as I mentioned, for the smart cities operating system, what is established in Berlin. Here we have office, we have rooms, we have places to go together. There is a lot of writing and planning about fiber and about these possibilities in Germany. As you know, for example, Gaia X has started in Germany because a lot of writing awareness of this opportunity. So we found that would be a good hub. Of course, we could open other German speaking languages like Switzerland, Austria, etc. So far, we are quite successful. We signed already contract with Kiel, Heidelberg, a pilot with the Split. So we are starting little by little.
Thank you for great performance, Antonio. It's always good to see such a high level of energy and charisma in contest. I have one question and one comment. As you mentioned, you already have good progress in Germany. You should probably include it to your deck because your deck now says more about Spain. But the question was about the founding team. You mentioned founders already invested 1 million euros. That's a lot. Are some founders probably more active with investing money than dealing with this business day to day, or how did you get 1 million euros from founding team?
So this was maybe, as I mentioned, was bootstrap funding. So means all this kind of program was in European incubator, we were bridge, we were supported by Europe, which was that a good point. That was nice because we got good signal for investors, for venture capital. So what maybe this kind of cooperation program supported by national and European level that give us, and indeed we don't want it to just keep there because we thought that this was a good for bootstrap and pushing, but we need to go to the cities people.
Okay, so this funding came from public money, from grants, not from inside of the team.
No.
Okay, good, thanks.
So inside the team is not. It's only mindset.
Okay, so basically you set it up a urban data platform, right?
Yeah.
So you talk about Germany, and are you aware that there's a DIN standard that is is only focused on specifying what is a urban data platform? So
we know about the urban data platform. We know about, for example, the IUDX study that we are working in India. Or this so that is for what I rely on Fiber Foundation in order to make sure about this standard. I don't know much more because we are working with Fraunhofer, we are working with they have their own way to do things. We are also working with Fiber, as I told you. But indeed, we are not so worried about the platform. That is for us the enabler. For that is we rely on connecting with the facilities broker, like Fiber or Fiber itself. And after we put on top what we give as another very nice to exploit those data, the indicators, the forecasting, and the monitoring of the action plans.
Okay, so we have a break now till 11 sharp.
11 sharp. Hello, my name is Aitor Castillo. I am one of the partners at Petergy and the product owner. Let me present you DSS, Digital Solar plus Storage. We are Petergy. We are a leading software solar platform. We like to say we turn energy data into actionable savings. Let me introduce you to DSS. What do we want to do? We want to become the leading software platform for the deployment of solar and storage projects, helping project developers, providing them with 3 services. First, project modeling, a tool to deliver thousands of quotations cost effectively and fast with the appropriate sizing for the consumer of the energy of the end consumer and the prices, digitalizing and scaling up the sales business. Secondly, a service for operation of the storage and solar. We have to decide how to charge and discharge the battery to reduce the electricity bill. So that's about operating that asset, which is more complex than just putting solar panels on the roof. And thirdly, a service for monitoring. We need to know why the system did what it did. We need to measure and verify savings and track performance. Well, what is the challenge and what are the benefits of solar plus storage? Storage can maximize the value of the solar market, also address sustainability and provide clean backup power. As you know, energy prices change throughout the day. Sometimes energy is cheap, sometimes it's expensive. So storage can, for example, store energy when it's cheap and then use it when it's more expensive. It can also store the surplus of solar production and not feed it into the grid, that the price for putting the energy in the grid is also lower. Storage can also reduce the electricity bill by saving the peak power and not having penalties in the bill. Okay, so how do we do that? Well, this is our unfair advantage. We use artificial intelligence and machine learning techniques to forecast the energy consumption of a building, of a house. We have also the forecasting of the prices, which is public information, and we can forecast the production of the solar panels you have in your roof. Once we know what lies ahead, we can schedule and plan an optimal discharge of the storage to reduce the electricity bill. Well, I already explained the services. Sorry, this was, should have been before. Okay, the market is huge. Storage figures in Europe have grown by 65% last year. Now we are in 2021. The energy prices are soaring, making storage more profitable than ever. Also, there is an urgent call for climate action. Flexibility is becoming the cornerstone of the policy. As you know, solar power is a source that is variable and uncertain, and storage can provide this stability, and the lithium batteries price are reducing. Our go-to-market strategy is focused on utilities. Our solar software platform is used by 15 utilities, so we are already in that market. Why we choose utilities? Because 4,500 utilities account for all the energy consumers in Europe. You can address these companies directly. They are all in public registries. For us, it's also quite important to address project developers because they have the technical leadership, so they are doing even better than utilities as far as solar is concerned. Another channel that we want to address in storage, I would say stakeholders, is to partner with energy storage manufacturers. Solar is a simple technology, and storage, to deal with that data, we need to customize for energy storage manufacturers, integrate the value chain in this emerging market. Also, it's quite important for us to integrate with other software vendors, like we've done with solar, with CRMs and ERPs from utilities, so that we can get all the data from the consumers and process it. So this emerging market will build an ecosystem of software energy. We have talked about the present market, but I want to say that storage has a bright future.
These are revenue streams that a storage a battery new business models that reward this flexibility. We have talked about 3 examples, but in 2-3 years, the European directives has set a clear path to increase the revenue of this asset. For example, we can talk about ancillary services. This is providing stability to the grid, frequency or voltage, that the distributors will pay storage for that. Also, demand response participation. Prosumers can respond to market signal prices and get a reward, economic reward for that, or P2P trading. Well, we offer our product as a software as a service license. We have, for the proposal tool, we have a license of 300 euros per month for a backend user to produce this large number of quotations on a monthly bid. Our average customer produces 1,000 solar offers at present. Then operation and monitoring is a completely different license, because that happens when you build a solar plant, and the costs of this license are related to the cost of the plant. We are assessing this as 50% of the actual maintenance cost of the plant. We think our software, the asset management, can produce that value. This is the present conversion rate our customers has for solar. It's between 10% and 20% conversion rate of the offers to the actual projects. This is our annual revenue sales projection. We expect around 300,000 revenue for 2022 once we launch the product. It's a natural extension of our solar product, so we will be introducing it into our existing customer base with a strong growth into 2023. As you can see, the software, the project modeling license gradually becomes less important. That is because once the asset is in operation, it's a recurrent revenue that stays for a long time. Solar installations have a life cycle of 25 years, storage between 10 and 15 years. So eventually we get income from producing these quotations, but every time a project gets constructed, needs to be operated. So there is a cumulative effect. In the long term, for us, the operation of the battery and the managing of the assets will be the main business. And the market is really responding to that. Our customers, utilities, and large solar project developers are now financing solar. Solar is a product that can be financed very well. So the end customer is paying a fee or is paying for the energy produced on the solar roof, but is not the owner of the solar installation. That's when managing assets become really very important, optimizing those assets. Well, this is how do we get these figures? We have used our present conversion rate for solar. We think would be the same for solar plus storage. In this case, average customer delivers 1,000 offers per month. We have customers that do much larger or much less, and we have considered a size of a project of 10 kilowatts, which is a mix of residential, commercial, and industrial buildings. Big competitors are in the US and Australia. These are big markets, so there are big players, and more mature markets as far as solar is concerned. They are struggling to move into Europe because the energy market is highly regulated, fragmented, and internationalization has strong entry barriers when you need to support regulation. There is specific regulation for storage, for solar, the structure of the tariff prices, etc. I would say there are few players that have the blend of energy knowledge, financial, and data science to really deliver value. For example, some of these competitors in Europe are actually energy storage manufacturers that in this emerging market provide a full solution, but we would be looking to partner with them. And our unfair advantage is that we already have a model in solar, and we can go into storage because we have the technological capabilities. Well, we are a multidisciplinary team combining best-in-class technology and over 100 years experience in data science, energy. During which we have made a long way. We have sat with many customers and signed a first contract for developing an online calculator for storage. We have in finance used the business plan to apply to 300 cases that have secure financing for the next 2 years of the development.
Thank you
we
so
are
much.
on different missions, commercial.
Thank you so much for your presentation.
Sorry, I ran short about why invest in us, if you can ask, and why.
Okay, so sorry for interrupting you, but we need
Sure.
to keep on schedule. I'm a bit confused. So who's your client? The big utilities companies or the small owner of a solar panel?
Yes, our customer are the big utilities and also project developers. There are very large companies now doing solar installations and financing solar installations. And they have the customers and they have the data.
Okay, and to those customers, you are selling what?
To the utilities.
Yes.
Yes, for example, with a utility, what we do is we give them a software that integrates their consumption data, and they can automatically produce a quotation for solar and storage and deliver it to the customers. We can scan the whole portfolio and produce quotations for the actual clients, but we can also for new leads provide the commercial tools so that they do these fast quotations without a spreadsheet that takes weeks or partnering with others.
Okay. In the presentation, you show that you have already had a turnover of 1.2 million euros in the company. Is that correct?
Last year, was turnover was 1.2.
And it's coming from?
Sorry,
This
it's
money is coming from?
200,000 are recurrent revenues from software, and the rest is engineering services, operation services, as we started up as an engineering and consulting firm, and we have digitized that knowledge into the software. Also, some of the companies that we offer these services give us work for different services, the engineering of the plants, dealing with the subsidies. So I have not taken that into the business.
Thank you for your presentation. I have 2 comments. One is related to the question of my colleague. Like, if your customer is a utility company, maybe you should replace the nice picture of a home with Tesla and solar panel to the picture of your real customer. It will give investors more vision about, or more understanding about
there
your.
was a slide when the biggest surface of the channels is actually.
Yeah, I understood it, but just a note. Also, with the revenue of 1.2 million, the valuation of 6 million doesn't make sense for me as an investor. Like, it should be way higher, or maybe I have a wrong understanding of your revenue. And you are trying to get money for 3 years. 3 years is probably a bit way too much for startup.
Sorry?
So maybe 2 years would be much better for you, because if you will make a progress, you will raise next money with much higher valuation. There is no point to take money and keep it in the bank.
Yes, this is like the average is 500K is that the investment we would need for next year. So it's that 1.5 divided by 3 years. Yeah.
Okay, just one question. What about your team? You show the large team, but how many of them are working in developing the solution and in selling the solution?
Yeah.
And are they full-time or
Yeah, sure. We are at present 30 people in the company. 15 are devoted to the digitalization of the business. We are two partners, so I am full-time on the digital part. And my colleague is on the, let's say, analog business. So it's now 50% each. I have to say that for the moment, this has been also, I think, part of our success, that we have a conventional engineering and consulting company that has given us the knowledge to build a domain and customized because of the regulatory issues that you need to address. Thank you.
So there are remote control. This way. Okay. In the pocket.
Yeah, in a pocket here. Put it there. Yeah, I can. Yeah, perfect. Right, tell me when to start. Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Sebastian. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Rebase Energy. We're empowering energy innovators, energy companies, and real estate developers with data and digital tools to plan and optimize distributed energy resources. So this is yesterday's power system, a very top-down energy system with large centralized generation units pushing down the electrons in one direction to a fairly stable demand. But this system is changing rapidly to a much more distributed and complex system. I was myself working at the top of the system as a power trader in a large utility company, and I saw the challenge from the inside of handling volatile distributed renewables. And I also saw the potential of modeling to forecast and optimize these renewables and distributed assets in markets and grids. But with the distributed energy system, energy modeling is also needed on the distribution and presumption level of the grid. As a matter of fact, with hundreds of millions of distributed assets getting integrated into the grid, a lot of this energy modeling is going to be needed. So in every single energy company that I worked in, from large utility companies to wind farm developers to solar panels installers, I've seen the exact same problem. So energy modeling efforts are typically initiated by one or a few enthusiastic engineers. It starts with an Excel sheet, and then it becomes more complex. Another Excel sheet is added, maybe a Python script and a Jupyter notebook. In the end, you have a complex interdependency structure of files that are far from reproducible or maintainable. This is a headache when debugging or when a team member leaves and is replaced with a new one. Therefore, we believe that tooling in the energy space for modeling has a huge potential for time savings and performance increase. So at Rebase, we believe that artificial intelligence has a key role to play in how the future energy systems are planned and operated. Therefore, we're building the AI tooling layer to help energy companies to focus on their core business and boost collaboration and avoid data pipelining and data collection issues. So we employ a platform as a service business model, the Rebase Data Hub and the Rebase Modeling Toolkit, both generating recurring revenues. In the Rebase Data Hub, we aggregate and harmonize dispersed energy relevant data sets such as weather, market, and asset data into one unified API that we provide to our customers, and they can develop on top of this. In the Rebase Modeling Toolkit, we allow data scientists and energy engineers to iterate and quickly speed up modeling, backtesting, and deployment of state-of-the-art energy modeling techniques such as forecasting, optimization, and simulation. So, and this is really the product that we've been working on in the REACH program. We've been, during the REACH, developing commercial partnerships with 4 clients with a total project value of 150,000 euros. So we're building on an open source model, and this is really what makes us unique. So we're developing an open source toolkit that we call EnerFlow for all of this machine learning optimization to take place. We're enabling independent data scientists and engineers to work with this, to benefit from the open source, to get transparency and flexibility, but also to contribute back to the community. And then we're streamlining the integration with our commercial platform and toolkit, thereby allowing the industry to take part of academia's latest advances in energy modeling and gaining additional proprietary and add-on features such as scaling up computation, experiment tracking, and versioning of projects. So in a sense, we're like Databricks for energy. So this is our pricing model. It's quite simple. So we start with a freemium pricing model where we basically allow customers to use a limited amount of compute and also only public projects. And then we have per user pricing and also based on the compute that they use. In the enterprise packages, we offer SLAs as well as additional support and training. So I would like to talk to you a little bit about the customers that we've been working on to become more concrete. So during the REACH program. So Rexel is a multinational company that sells and implements solar systems for their clients. So what we have done with them is basically developing from the energy rebase modeling toolkit and widget to speed up the calculation and modeling of solar battery and electric vehicle systems, thereby providing value propositions for their customers and streamlining sales operations. Together with Helsinki City, Helsinki basically, they have a huge problem with the district heating network, which is heavily based on fossil energy. So what we did is that we used our modeling toolkit to model the whole energy system in Helsinki and to work out how we could use solar and heat pumps in a much more efficient way to lower emissions, but also to lower OPEX and CAPEX costs by 15%. And we were part of the Helsinki Energy Challenge with more than 250,000 projects from all over the world, including big corporates like ENGIE and E.ON. And we were one of the 4 winners out of those 250 applicants. Okay, so our go-to-market. We have 3 customer segments. We're starting and focusing on the energy service providers, which are what we believe the innovators that are bringing these new technologies out to the market. We're an enabling technology, and that's why we're relevant for them. We have a strong network in this sector and a clear access to the customers. So that's why we're starting here. And also there's very little customer education in this sector. The second one is energy companies, where we already have collaborations with well-known utilities like E.ON, but it's a little bit difficult to get in there. That's why it's the second stage. And then the third stage is as the energy market matures and become more distributed, every building company is essentially an energy company. And we believe that's the big part of the market where we want to tackle. And we already have a first script there with Helsinki Energy as a real estate owner. This brings total market size of about 5 billion euros. If we would be able to address 40% of that and get 5% of that in total, then we would have 100 million euros in annual recurring revenue. And with a 10% X, we're a unicorn. And all of this is a bottom-up calculation, by the way. Okay, so go to market. Basically, Andreessen Horowitz, one of the most famous investors of our time, launched a seed investment fund early this year, and they underpinned the convergence of the B2C and B2B business go-to-market strategies, which are bottom-up built. And that's really what we want to do, but we want to do this in a 2-step approach. The first step with building up a systematic sales organization for direct sales, and then building on top of that the value and the bottom-up approach built on top of the freemium and community-based model that we have. And also, of course, leveraging relationships with corporates. We already have partnership with Azure and IBM that have our target customers as their customers, which we could leverage for further growth. We are unique because of 4 main reasons. First of all, we're scalable. We can allow energy simulations from 1 to tens of thousands simultaneous simulations in our platform. Second of all, we're open source. We're the only open source company that we know in this space. We have built a data moat on our energy data hub. And we have today 0.5 petabyte of managed data in the data hub. And lastly, we're building up partnerships, which I described before, such as Hitachi and other corporates that we believe we can use for accelerated growth. This is our amazing team of energy engineers, data scientists. I started Rebase 3 years ago together with my co-founder Mihai Shiru, who has a 10 years experience in the energy sector, working with utility companies in data science and IT. We have a strong connection to the KTH innovation ecosystem with research and innovation. So to summarize, we're in the market today. We have paying customers. As a matter of fact, we have more requests than we are able to handle at the moment. Therefore, we're raising our seed round to boost our go-to-market and to continue customer-driven development. So we believe that it's the perfect timing to continue working with Reach so that we can take this to the next step, go to relevant industry conferences, meet with investors, and basically secure this funding to develop the product further and expand the growth. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Can you give us more details about the round, please?
Yes, so we want to raise 1 to 1.5 million euros. And we're looking at bringing in value-added investors. We're not just there for the money, but we want investors that can help us go to market faster. So both angel and institutional investors and even corporate investors are interesting. We're today in contact with several of these investors in every segment, and we're trying to make up the perfect kind of match.
How will you use the funds?
The funds. So the funds will be used to deploy 2 new engineers and 2 new sales persons to help basically build up the sales organization, also be able to make use and kind of deliver on all these promises that we've made so far with the engineers. So today our sales process has been very ad hoc. It's basically been me that's been kind of conducting that. And what we want to do is basically systematize this and make it a much more structured sales process. Yeah.
Okay. Quick question. Don't you think that you are cheap selling your service?
Okay, so what we employ is a bottom-up approach to go to market. So we have a freemium. We're one of the few companies that actually have a freemium, a sign-up page on our website. We believe that we can offer the first part of our platform very cheap. And then, of course, as we grow into the market, we can develop added-on services and thereby raise the price of the product. But today we are, we have a mean MRR of our customers of around 800 euros, and this is growing as we develop.
Just a quick question: How is it going, the relationship with the ABB, namely?
Hitachi ABB.
For example.
Hitachi ABB.
ABB.
All right. Okay. So Hitachi, so ABB split up, and now ABB Power Grids is part of Hitachi. So I assume that you're talking now about ABB, not ABB Power Grids. So with ABB, we have been working with them in their Industrial AI Accelerator 2019. We are continuously in talk with them, and we believe that we have more capabilities actually to add to their services further down the road. But what we've found now is a road together with ABB Hitachi, which is the ABB Power Grids part of ABB. And there, we're actually now in discussion on real deals that are on the table. We have got accepted a deal for the largest utility company in Algeria. This deal has a contract value of 100,000 euros. So it's going really well, and we believe that they've been sending us a lot of different proposals, tenders, to go together with them on these tenders. And that's really hopeful for that. That can be a great way to actually get into the market quicker.
So you are already into their corporate venture program, right?
Yes, yeah, exactly. So they have a quite rigorous kind of supplier let's say supplier acquisition pipeline, and we're now in their kind of supplier network and have been granted as being able to supply to them. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Excellent.
Okay, good morning. My name is Yvonne, and I'm going to present you Big Data Energy Management Platform. All about this is the energy. The energy is an important issue, as we have seen in different kind of startups, and especially is the energy is totally related with the economical growth of any country. It's also related to the competitiveness of the companies, especially for those that has high dependency of energy. We are seeing these days in the news that we are having in Europe and also in the world some problems of energy. We are seeing queues in the petrol station in UK. We are seeing the natural gas prices being higher and higher in prices, which implies that the electric price of the market is increasing. And we are running out of time. We have an issue that we have to be solved. The European Commission knew that this issue was going to happen, and that's why in 2020 make the 2020 package that was focused on reducing the 20% of the greenhouse gases, also to produce the 20% of the energy from renewable energies, and especially to improve in 20% the energy efficiency. These values, they have been increased, of course, for the following packages because they are going to be very important, as Europe has no high renewable resources. So that's why, as Hope said before, who is going to solve this situation? We are focusing in improving the energy efficiency. And now one of the most energy consumers is the industry. That's why we go to provide services to the industry 4.0 with big data and AI predictive model solutions. That's why we created the Energy Management Platform, a platform who is a services software platform that is capable to manage all the energy data from the companies from the beginning, from being raw data, processing the information, to be able to create predictive models and provide insights to the end users. This is a control platform that processes all the information to create at the end forecasts are going to be able to provide to the final users data-driven decisions. How we have ended here right now with this kind of platform? Because we mainly we have some background with some projects such as with Mercedes-Benz and also with Volkswagen, that they were very customized projects, of course. But we learn a lot from that project to know what they have in common and what the industry needed for other kind of sectors, not just for automotive sectors. Also, we have some team that it has and high knowledge in technology, in AI predictive models, big data architecture. So we were capable to provide these kind of solutions in a broader way. And also, we knew that providing that process of all the data, well, it was important also to have some partnerships with the data acquisition of IoT partners that we have done, and also for selling the services to other kind of industries, not just automotive, like chemical. That's why we created a partnership also with chemical industry. Our market, as I said, is not just automotive, and although we have a partner in chemical, our objective of market are the industries that have high consumption, of course, to improve that energy efficiency. Those companies that are awareness about sustainability, about their industrialization, and also that they are, as I said at the beginning, dependent on the energy prices. Our timeline during these last months, that has been a crazy timeline. It started, of course, starting with the experiment, and we started making all the technical part, I mean, all the backend to be able to provide this kind of services. In August, we were able to make this partnership with this chemical industrial partner that we raised 125,000 euros. It was an investment for us, and we created the company as a society. So right now we are working with 3 early adopters, 3 new companies that they are going to be clients. I hope them to be before the end of this year. And of course, we are planning right now the marketing and commercial planning. So for the following months, what we are going to do is to launch that marketing and commercial strategy. Also, we are working with the Basque Trade. It's an entity here from the Basque industry, Basque country, about the internationalization, because we are going to move not just in Spain, but also in Portugal, Germany, and Italy, especially because that's the recommendation. That's why we are going next week, for example, to Munich. And the idea is to check also the answer of the market of these different kind of countries to see if you are in the good way or not. Also, we are not going to stop in the technical side. We are going, as right now we have the predictive models, we are going to use that predictive models to know different kind of scenarios and provide an optimizer to say with this one, this scenario is the best one to reduce, to improve the energy efficiency. And also for the following year, we are expecting to raise that capital based on the plans that we have of close to $500,000. This is our team right now. We are going to hire 2 more people because we see that we are starting having some success. So we need some more technical to provide the support. And also, as we have this planning of commercial and strategy to be quite broader, we are also adding new people to our team. This was the experience evolve phase at the end, our idea of the market. It fits correctly, but we saw that we need to also have some extra income from the setup. Okay, because we are facing some big companies and the higher cost comes especially from that setup. Also, we have seen that there are some problems in the digitalization. I mean, they have some digitalization that they have done, but normally are general or energy meters that they are measured directly to their SCADA or whatever systems that they have. So that's why we made this partnership with the IoT partner to be able to help them make not just metering, but also sub-metering. So this year has been quite good economically because we have raised the rates, but also that investment. And also we have right now early adopters, so that we have 3 clients. So we have overcome our expectation, and that's why we think that we are going in the right way for our planning. But of course, we are startups, so we don't have a long-term maybe timeline because we know that we will have to pivot based on that strategy of commercial and marketing that we are doing in Spain, but also internationally. Thank you very much.
Thank you. My question is, how long does it take to a company or for you to, the moment that they say, yes, we want to use your service, how long does it take till you have full up and running, integrating the systems, the sensors, and so on and so forth?
Okay, that's why I said that the cost of the setup, we have to introduce always, because we have seen that for us, if everything is defined, it takes like less than a week. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's big or small company. We go and we take all that information because we do it with IoT and also 3G or 4G connectivity. But normally the problem comes with the IT department, the distribution that they have. So that's why normally that's scalable linearly based on how big is the company. Normally the setup extra charge that we have to, the cost that they are going to pay will depend especially based on how big they are. For example, right now we have a client in Madrid that has just 13 meters. We are going to do it just in 1 week, but we have another client that has 280 meters, and we are expecting to be like in 2-3 months time that we are going to be able to deploy all the system. So of course the setup cost will be totally different.
Thank you. Can you elaborate a bit a competition topic?
Yeah, right now there are many energy management platforms right now, but what we have seen and why we see that we are succeeding is there are two main things, are the IoT and the part of the predictive models. That's something that we have seen that other competitors, they are working on it, but they are planning to have it like for the midterm in 2022, and we have it right now. So that's why we see that predictive model especially is going to be one of the most interesting things for our clients, added value comparing to our competitors. And the IoT, we are using LoRaWAN technology. And that's something that we didn't thought at the beginning that it was going to be very interesting, but as it is an open source community, it's succeeding a lot.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
And would you like to
So can you hear me? Yeah. Okay. I feel a bit like a motivational speaker, like tell you what to do in your life. Okay, thank you. Okay, so now I can breathe as well. So my name is Oscar. I'm coming from a company called Crops from Novi Sad, Serbia, and we're delivering AI solutions for agriculture of the future. That's not the button, that one. So this is our story. It dates back to 2017 when we first applied for Syngenta Crop Challenge, and that's something like the World Cup in data analytics for agriculture. And actually, we came first. We won the first prize. We were better than MIT, better than Stanford, and we got the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation grant to scale this technology up for Africa and Mexico. So it's then when we realized that we got some commercial potential. So we founded the new company in 2019, and here we are today in the Reach Incubator. So this is a photo that I took in a supermarket just a few weeks ago, and I've always got a problem when I need to buy toothpaste, because one is for fresh breath, the second one is for healthy gum, the third one is for white teeth. But which one do I choose? And I'm feeling frustrated. And that's exactly how farmers feel when they need to choose their seed varieties. One is for sandy soils, the other one is for rain, the third one is for drought. But if they choose the right one, they can increase their yields for up to 25% and still decrease the risk. So we teamed up with Delta. Delta is actually the largest company in Serbia, and they're quite big in agriculture. They've got their own soybean seed varieties. And we designed a system to help them distribute those seed varieties and to recommend them to their clients, the farmers, for the local growing conditions. So you can see all these different colors, they're different varieties. Now Delta knows exactly how to distribute and how to sell them. Our value proposition is basically, first of all, to optimize the distribution and sales. The second of all, it's to characterize those varieties, because usually they need to have 7-year-long trials on the field to really get to know what the variety is like. But we can have virtual trials using AI-driven yield prediction. And last of all, they're providing added value for their clients, for farmers, through variety recommendation. So how does it work? Well, we're using big data analytics. We're using data from satellites, data from soil maps, from climate, and we've got some really good AI models to predict the yield and to optimize the whole solution. But we also had the ground truth from Delta with 6,000 data points. And when I speak about big data analytics, and when I say that we have 6,000 data points, some may laugh because, you take a ride with your car and you get 3 terabytes of data. And it's quite different because to get just one data point in agriculture, you need to wait for the whole year between planting and harvest. And in a way, this is like having 6,000 years of data, which is quite a lot. So we're producing yield maps, but we're also producing risk maps. And the risk information is quite important, especially for banks and insurance companies, because now they can assess their clients and they can offer customized premiums and interest rates. But we're going to talk about it later. So the business model that we're proposing is B2B, where we already spoke to these companies here, the seed companies, banks, insurance companies, fertilizer companies, but we're also relying on B2B2C business model. And there are tons of these farm management systems around. They use all over the world. And for example, AgroSense in Serbia, which is not the most digitally transformed country, has got 20,000 users. So we can provide additional functionality to all these farm management systems.
Regarding the market size, if we just take a look at the seed companies, there are top 10 seed companies which cover 70% of the total market. And if we limit ourselves to Europe and America, we get something like 700 million euros per year. So there are these red countries on the map where we already have some data, some operations, and we're planning to attack those blue countries really soon. Or if that's okay. Okay. And I'll do it this way. So there are also banks and insurance companies where we can have some service fee for our services. So within this experiment phase, we also had contacts with industry. In June, we started a pilot with MK Farming, and MK is responsible for a quarter of all Serbian exports. So they're interested in yield maps, which we update every 2 or 3 weeks when we get the new meteorological data. And for them, it's important to know the yield because of the logistics and optimal sales. We also conducted a pilot with K+S, which is the largest producer of salt in the world, and they're also quite big in fertilizer. So we're providing fertilizer recommendation and yield prediction for this paid pilot in Uganda, for which we got 33,000 euros. And I don't know if any of you like to drink beer. I know that some do because I saw you yesterday. But in order to produce beer, you need to produce barley. And that's where AB InBev contacted us about a month ago. So we signed an NDA, we got the data, and we're conducting a pilot in Russian Kursk region to predict the yield of barley, but also to predict protein and quality content. So we're hoping to have this service for them as well. And so our strategy is that we've got 24-month runway, which keeps us at a very good position. So we don't have to rush with the investments, but this doesn't mean that we didn't speak to investors. We spoke to Ragnarsson, we spoke to Freedom Holding Corp, we spoke to Depot Ventures, but our next step would be to secure clients to have a steady stream of revenue. And then after that, we can get better deals with investors and to the scale up. So we reach those investors through these projects that we got in the past 4 or 5 months. And we're actually waiting for the results for 2 of them, which are about 30 to 40K. And the good news is that yesterday, my colleague, co-founder Sanja, pitched in Belgrade, and she went to the 2nd round. So we hope for the best there. Regarding the team, so Sanja and I are co-founders. So you see that we've got gender balance here. But we also have the product development team. But we also have the business development manager, who is Marsha. And Marsha is the best in the world. She mentored more than 200 startups through Horizon 2020 accelerators. And we've got a business advisor, Professor Vladimir, who is the director of Biosense Institute, which is the European Center of Excellence for IT in agriculture. But he's also the World Bank's expert for digital transformation of agriculture, which means that he's got good contacts with the World Bank, with other banks, and with agribusinesses. So it's a combination of our data science background and their business knowledge that will help us roll out our technology. But just to brag on about this a bit, during this phase, we managed to get 1 new employee, and that's Jelena Zoric, who was on an internship program with us, and now we officially hired her. So as of the 1st of September, she's a full member of our team. And we're also hiring. So if you know somebody who's into business development, that's also a side of our team, which we want to strengthen in the next couple of months. So all in all, this was about crop, about optimization in agriculture, and about recommending the right varieties and optimizing the whole value chain. Currently, we're looking forward to further tech development, to have some more services, but we're mainly looking for clients. And that's why participation in events in the next phase, where we will hopefully go, will be very important for us. And also, I think contacts with investors, although we're not actively looking for investment right now, I think they're really important for the next period to keep those contacts. So thank you very much for staying with me, and I'm open to your questions.
Nice presentation.
Thank you very much.
So the business model part was so fast, I couldn't manage to
Okay.
focus. Can you go back there and
Of
explain
course.
me how do you make money and how that's linked or not?
So,
to savings?
yeah, well, thanks for the question. And, you know, a few years ago, well, when we started a company, we thought that we were going to do optimization for farmers. You know, there are, well, I think that every fifth person in the world is a farmer. So there are tons of these around. But the problem is that B2C business model in agriculture rarely works. Farmers are somewhat traditional, and also it's quite hard to reach a large number of farmers without having a middleman. So we thought, how are we going to overcome this? So the way to go here is to have those middlemen either in the form of seed companies, banks, insurance companies, fertilizer companies like K+S. And the other way around it is just to have functionality within farm management systems. For example, we spoke to Agrivi, and they're present in 100 countries in the world. And we know that we can have a revenue sharing model with them and to use their 100 country network to get to those farmers.
Yeah, that was clear to me. The access or the channels or the partnerships was clear, but how, for how much you sell your product, your service,
sorry.
company, or how much would be the partnership?
So, for example, these companies are charging something. So these companies like Farm Management Systems are charging something somewhere between €2 or €5 per hectare. So if we split the revenue, we can easily get €1 per hectare. But then, for example, AB InBev asked us how much is going the optimization in Russia going to cost, because if it's €1 per hectare, it would be like €2 billion. So we obviously need to have software as a service, a model like yearly subscription, which we would charge by the number of people, the number of hectares, the farmers' number of hectares. But also like functionalities. Are we just doing yield prediction? Are we doing recommendation? Are we doing protein prediction? So I think it really depends on the client. And also, like, if one unit of seeds for 1 hectare costs something like €300, then for like, if a farmer, then we could have a small percentage of that, like €2 or €3 within those €300 to have a digital tool besides the concrete seeds.
And what about competitors?
Competitors, well, that's also a nice question that I'd like to talk about, because there are some companies doing yield prediction mostly for insurance and mostly on a large scale, like on a European base. But I would say that it's a fight between human and AI now, because, for example, for Delta, how they're currently doing it, they have a team of very experienced agronomists, and they are recommending the varieties to farmers, they're helping them. But, you know, if you have satellites, there is soil, there is climate, there are elevation, so tons of parameters, and no human person can keep that in their mind. And if you also take a look at multiple fields, so if you can choose 10 varieties for one field, for 2 fields, you can choose 10 times 10 varieties. For, I think for 30 fields, the number of combinations is equal to the number of atoms in the universe. So no human expert can keep that in their mind. And that's where the AI comes up.
Yeah, thank you. You showed us 3 investors in your tech.
Yeah.
Are all of them already invested or gave you hard commitments?
No, they didn't invest, but we had contacts with them. And
maybe you should change the wording then, because it clearly says investors. So
okay,
just
well,
sort
thanks
of
for the
feedback.
suggestion. Maybe we can say something like investors contacted.
Potential investors.
Potential, yeah.
or-
Thanks.
Yeah. My last question is coming back to the competitors. How are you going to protect your IP?
Well, I think that there are 2 ways to protect it. The first way is to file a patent. So underneath this is one part, which is the prediction part, where we're using innovative machine learning. And within that, we're using innovative feature engineering. So for example, you have 365 days and you have hourly measurements of weather parameters, but we're not using that in the original form. We're cleverly, I would say, defining those input features, and that's what we can protect. And the second thing that we can protect is the optimization part, where we're using innovative evolutionary algorithms, some of which we developed within my PhD. So I think that the upgraded version can be patented.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
You were already fine. So.
Thanks.
Yeah, if you wish. Okay. Okay, thank you. Good morning. So today I will present you Laguna Rekin. That means with my friend, that is a new solution that UP wants to propose. So what is it? It's a virtual assistant of the dynamic assessment of well-being. But first of all, I would like to make an overview of UP. UP was created in 2013. And this company is owned only by individual person, private fundings only for humans, for colleagues. And a big difference that we have done at the starting of our company was to create our own platform. This is very important, our own big data IA platform. Oh, sorry, thanks. Platform. We will see later what it's important, because this is platform we can go very fast in developing new services based on IA. And UP, of course, we have data scientists. It's our, I could say, our intelligence and mathematical profiles. The next step for UP, it's we are really ensured in the Pays Basque. In the Basque Country, for us, it's our commercial strategy and geographical strategy. So UP, we are in our ADN a lot of research and development skills. We are always looking for what could be innovative using IA. So we have some awards that we win with different in different strategy or in different domain. With like Enedis, it's like Iberdrola, and community of Basque Country. And the last that we had, it was with the CNES about a new solution using image satellite with machine learning. Why we are saying this? It's because today UP, we have always followed the same strategy to go to the market. All these customers are really customers. That means they are paying for services for us. We are only pushing services and fees. We have today 4 main strategies for in terms of transport and mobility in industry. And we could say that e-tourism and e-commerce, this strategy is today stopped by UP. But we are always looking for research scientific, where we are always looking to have new products and to be very close of academic schools to help us to improve our services. But now, let me introduce myself. I am Vincent Moreno. So I am one of the co-founders with Romain. And we have more than 20 years, 25 years of experience. And we have a strong line, I could say a second line for us, that is about operational management, where we have IT profile, data scientist profile. All these persons are coming from high schools. And for us, it's very important because we want to be sure that this team is able to follow up the quality of the project that we are pushing, of course. But let's discuss about the virtual assistant, what we are speaking about. So today, you will agree with me, I hope, that from school for work until your retirement, the well-being is going to change, and we have limits, everybody of us, in terms of dependencies. Sometimes we can speak about burnout, we can have accident, etc., etc. Why we are interested by which program and why we integrated this switch program? Because today we have to know that, for example, in France,
in 2030, we will have people age of 65 years more than people that are 20 years old. So this is a fact. And today in 2020, in Europe, we have more than 30 million of people age of 80 years old. So when we integrate REACH, it was with Biscaya province, we had to resolve a specific problematic. The problematic is to know how we can delay the time where people will have to be dependent, how we can help them before to go in residence, for example, or to be institutionalized. This is the big problematic that we had to resolve. And how we are doing this, in UPI, we are a very pragmatic company. By default, what we do is not to say we imagine something and we are going to test. We discuss very closely with our first customer, we could say, or data provider in this case, to understand clearly what could help them. And in this scenario, at the first, we were speaking about to have a dynamic solution that perform regular assessment. Of course, to be able to prevent means what kind of things I could do to help people or to know what is happening. But we have the help and simulate part that are based on IA that are the strongest part of our solution. Why? Because today we are able not to tell you if this person is going to go in a residence in 2 months, in 3 months. No, this is not possible today with the data. But what we can say with certitude, we can prioritize people who could need to have help. Today we have to know, for example, just for Biscaya, we have more than 30,000 people that are, I could say, monitored. So it's huge. They are using Excel files, of course, they are working a lot. And we have a lot of partners. We have caregivers, of course, we have the users, we have the social company, we could say, that is making all around them working. And to do this, we are pushing to them recommendation to tell them, this guy, or this person needs or is more at risk than this person. So we can prioritize and help to have the good system or the good service for this kind of persons. So what was the big issue that we have in our project? And it's a major point that we discovered, because we imagine a big new application at the first of all, but when we discuss, we understand clearly that it was not our job to make a new web application or mobile application, because all of this already exists. But the data is blocked. The data for privacy, constraints, etc., this data is blocked. So for OP, we had to learn something, and we create for us a new end-to-end methodology to be sure that people who are giving data to OP are in trust and secure data. We can talk about anonymization, but this was not done by UP. It was already done by Biscaya. But we have to sign contracts and to be sure that how we can improve their data to give back them a service. And it's here where OP is making the difference on the different customers that we have, because we don't have so much this issue before. So we have made strong engagement, meaning contracts, meaning new rules, and an adaptation of our platform, of course. Now, if we are talking about our business model, UP is proposing a SaaS model, no installation fee. We are on a 3 years commitment, and we want to be a low subscription fee. This means €1 by month by user for a vulnerable person, and we want to have cost reduction based on our platform. So for us, we are clearly on the marketing. We are for the cost in terms of technical, it's not important for us. We can manage this. The cost, the most important cost will be in R&D and of course in marketing. For the distribution, our customers for UP will be, our client will be the professional organization, public health, social services, company associations. And for them, their end users are their client. The market, as I told you, is more than today 70 million people, 60 years old. And we hope to have
a CAGR of 180%. Of revenue, of course, will double every year. So we hope to obtain in 2030 7 million euros. And the net margin will be 61%. As I explained you, for this margin, we are sure about this because we have always the expertise and we know how much we have to invest. And of course, we are a strategy based on volumes and to have cheap and fast solution. What we have to remember in UP, we are pragmatic. We just want to sell services that we are 100% sure that people are going to use now. And I could finish. I don't have this last slide. Yes, perfect. The economic development is not a mean for us, but and not an end. Is a mean, sorry, and not an end. Thank you.
Perfect timing. Can you explain to us precisely what type of data are you gathering from the end customer? That I assume is the older people.
Yes. So Biscaya Provence, their job is to monitor by every year for each user they have to know what kind of services. For example, if you need for the caregivers, if the caregivers wants to continue to help the person, do you need to have a driver license? Perhaps for younger people, they can help to pay these kind of things. We have information like the last time that the person has been seen by a doctor, or we can we don't imagine. We have other information like this person perhaps need a teacher to learn to speak, etc., etc. Or you have data about this user has got kinesiotherapy that is going to help this physical point. So for this data, we had data for each user. We had one line telling us exactly what kind of services they have provided. And the two important information that we have, it's when this person has been in a resident, so nobody could help, he couldn't stay no more at home. It's this that we try to have to delay the time that people couldn't stay no more at home. And it is this data that we have. We had more, it was 30,000 lines. So of course, with this data, we cannot make a precise model, but this data was enough to test this first service of prioritization. And we are only focusing on this.
Thanks. But what exactly user means? Like, as a user, do I have to install some app into my phone, or how do you track me? Or should I feel something in your app time after time, or you just keep spying on me every time automatically? How does it work?
Yes. So I'm going to respond to your question. First is, for us, the idea is to know where the data is coming from. So after this application can be or not used by an end user. For example, let's imagine me, I have problems, and sometime I could, on this application, web application, mobile application, telling, yes, I received this service, etc. It's a way of thinking. Biscaya Provence is already making this kind of mobile application, so we will reuse this data. But in reality, or more constrained, more pragmatic today, this data is coming from directly the organism that are helping these people. So they're collecting this data coming from different partnerships. But the end user for them, they have to provide them for their user. For example, let's imagine to my grandmother, they have to provide to them the good service. It is their job. So it is the end user. After it is this end user that is going to send us the data, or the data is coming from the organism. For us, it's not an issue. It is an end user for them. Yes?
I'm just trying to understand the necessity of this app being installed to my phone or device. If you're getting data from other organizations, like why?
Yes, it's options, in fact, depending about the maturity. Yes.
I think the issue is this is much more trickier than that. So you are relying on something that the Basque Country has, right? Biscaya Province. But this reality is completely different. For example, if you move to Portugal, or even if you move to Madrid, or you don't have that kind of data, or at least you don't have the obligation to collect the data as they are doing here in Biscaya. So one of the things I've learned in this market is, for example, in France, all the services have been and need to be compliant with standards that are being put in place by AFNOR, so to get funded. So the market is not easy.
No, the silver economy is not easy, yes.
And the reality in regions in Spain is completely different from one to the other. And then between countries, it's quite diverse. And not all the countries are going so close to people. For example, in Portugal, these areas are tackled mainly by the social welfare ministry, and it's centralized. So how do you think you can really scale up to make this business international?
So for us, for international, first is France and Spain or Europe. I can finish, yes. So the idea is, as I said, we are just making a first service to prioritize, to help and to detect. And this is for all the countries in Europe, because the silver economy today, it is the issue that we have. We try to keep people at home in Spain, in Portugal, in
sure, but you don't have the data on those countries.
No, it is the point why yes, I agree. Yeah? It's the point why we say that we had to develop a trusted relation with people who have got this data. So OP is just, for us, what was interesting for us, when we go to market, we need to have a first tool to prove to people it can work. And with which we have now, I could say, this first tool and to prove. After the data and to collect data and to make the relation, of course. OP is not in a way where we are saying that we will try to collect all the data of people just to win money for us. We are really saying to people that we use their data. And they have for sure. Not always to the same format, of course, but after it's technique. Yeah, thanks a lot. And thank you to Biscaya to come. It's very nice. As you wish.
So thank you. You behaved very well, companies and the jury panel. We made it on time. We are follow absolutely according to plan, as you can see. So now it's time to take a picture. So we think that a good place to take, well, the picture at least to get some takes, some video takes is on the bridge that we need to cross to go to the CRY building where the lunch is organized. So we will slowly and guided by the Deusto team walk towards the CRY. I believe, Itoya, that we also need to deliver to give them the tickets for the food, or they already have them. There. Okay, so there also you will get the necessary ticket for you to have lunch. So some of us will be there for you to get it. Make sure that you are back by 2:30. I know it says 2:45. We will start talking and giving the prices at 2:45. But at 2:45, absolutely sharp. I would like everybody to please be seated before so that we don't suffer any delay. Okay. And thank you for your great efforts. I think it's been a very interesting, intense, and productive morning. And after lunch will come the big dessert. You'll know who are the top 5 teams that make it forward. Thank you.